Hi friends, today we are doing this very beautiful purpley mauvey kind of look. I love pinky purpley mauvey looks. That's like when I think about like playing with color, that's what I that's what I think about using is purples. But I have been wanting to use the purples and the Natasha Denona bronze palette for forever, and so I just did this look today. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. You guys know me, I'm not cray. But oh she fell down. Anyway, if you guys want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. Okay guys, so I've already done my eye primer. I used MAC Painterly Paint Pot and my brows and my little skin prep. And now I'm going to take this Dominique Cosmetics liquid eyeshadow in the shade, and I'm like, Shy Girl. That was not even anything close to what I was going to say. So I just put it on the back of my hand, and with a synthetic fluffy brush, I'm just kind of like mixing the product like that, picking some up, and I'm going to just start to buff this into my crease very lightly. And you can even like pat first while you're dragging it. I'm just kind of creating my shape with it a little bit. Just picking up a little bit more because this did kind of dry down very quickly, so I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more, and again I'm just rubbing it back and forth, and I'll do this side now. It's important when you're working with creams like this, especially like on top of kind of a cream, even though the MAC paint pots are a little bit like tacky and lightweight, you definitely want to hold your brush further back, lighter strokes. You don't want to go in super harsh because then you're just going to move it around and it's going to grab and it's going to be streaky and patchy and weird, and you're going to like look at yourself later and be like, wow, I messed that whole thing up. So yeah, so I'm just kind of blending and buffing, and now I'm trying to make both sides of my eye look equal. This is such a pretty shade, and you know what, because it can be built up, like I could totally go in with another layer, I could totally go in with a denser brush, I could go with my finger and really pack this on, you guys. It just makes it so versatile. You could even use it as like a liner. It's so beautiful, but it just looks like a powder shadow right now. I love it. So I'm picking up another cream. This is the shade Truth by Dynessa Myricks. It's this really pretty purple. Ugh, I love it. Now, I would do small amounts with this because it's like the Dominique Cosmetics one where it is going to be very pigmented but also dry really quickly. And I'm picking it up on this really flat, like dense Morphe brush. And I'm just going to pat that onto the lid. Hold on, let me look in a mirror. I don't know why I pretend like I can do this without a mirror. And so just picking it up and I'm putting it just on the lid and just kind of starting to create a shape. I'm going to pick up the residual that's kind of dried down on the back of my hand with this fluffy brush, and I'm just going to start to blend right above that. I'm not bringing it up, I'm just blending the edge. All right, that looks looking really good. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to take the shade Deep Dive, this super dark black from the Natasha Denona palette, on a Wayne Goss number 18. And I'm lightly going to coat the tip of this brush. And I'm going to start in the crease, just defining this very lightly. Then I'm going to slowly start to bring it up and blend it out. Then I'm just going to tap in it twice and just kind of tap that on top. And then I'm just going to put that all over the lid. Really nice and fluffy right over the Dynessa Myricks. And then I'm slowly bringing it up here. Very lightly. That was looking really good. Right. Wipe this away a little bit. All right, that looks really good. We're just gonna repeat the same thing on this other side. I know this seems kind of tedious, you guys, but when you're working with dark shadows like this, you have to work them, you know what I mean? Like if you want a good payoff, you want a nice blend, you want nice color saturation, then we gotta work it. All right, so that's very dark. We're gonna blend it out. Okay, so now that we got that all nice and blended out, I'm going to take the shade Rhodium, this purpley shimmer-y, and I'm going to pick it up with my finger, and I'm going to spray my finger with MAC Fix Plus. And I'm just going to pop this all over the lid. Does that do anything? That gives like a little bit of shimmer. Looks really pretty. And then I'm also going to take it up all the way to the brow bone up here. I'm just going to take that same fluffy brush, God, I cannot speak. This fluffy brush and just skim around the edges a little bit. All right, what do you guys think? It's very dark and dramatic, but man, the shimmer is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on to the face. So I'm going to take some Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade Light 2, and I'm going to pick it up with this small duo fiber brush. And I'm just going to pop that on the tops of the cheekbones. Give a nice, beautiful, natural glow underneath everything. Again, just putting a little of this right here, a little of this right here. I'm going to take some NARS Vanilla Concealer, and we're going to use that to conceal underneath my eyes. Picking up on the Moto Glow brush. You guys know she is my girl. I use it every single time I do my makeup. Get with a little bit more of that concealer, especially down here where I get nice and red and juicy. I have a damp sponge, just some MAC Fix Plus, and just going to tap that and bounce that into the skin, just making sure everything is nice and set. I'm using some of the IT Cosmetics CC cream in the shade Medium. And I'm using that on a Sigma F80 Kabuki, because you know that's what I do. Also, I just want to say that I did not notice what a strong fragrance this had. It smells like lemon cake. but it's very intense. I was like, whoa. Just because I use so much stuff nowadays that doesn't have fragrance in it, every time I smell a scent that's not on like a lip product, I'm always like, whoa. Working onto the neck, a little onto the ear, even into the hairline. And tap it over the concealer just to conceal a little bit. Want to bring it down onto our neck, that way nothing is patchy or streaky. Sorry, my hand was getting tired, I had to switch hands. And then of course we'll do our forehead. Slowly around the eyebrows. And get really up in the hairline. Just because the hairline for this hairstyle is so defined. You know, anything that is streaky or out of place is going to be very noticeable. But this looks amazing. And again, I'm just going to pick up my damp sponge and just kind of go over all of this just to make sure it's nice and set, but also that it's nice and blended and that it is picking up any excess product that's left over, you know? That way when we put powder on, nothing is clinging to those wet patches. So we do not want that. No, 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 no. And make sure you hit the neck too. Because that's the whole reason we put foundation on the neck, was because we wanted it to look nice and seamless and blended. I'm going to go back with my Moto Pro and I'm going to pick up some Chantilly concealer from NARS. I'm just tapping my brush in here and then I'll tap a little off onto the back of my hand. Just because, I don't know, I just like working off the hand first before I'm applying to the face, right? Because the face is like, ta-da, like the finishing product. You know, so I don't want to press in here and maybe have picked up a little too much and then I'm going into my eye and then I'm trying to have to blend down. It's much easier if I just do a little like dupe on the back of my hand and then start to press this in. And I'm concentrating this really close to the inner eye. I'm not dragging it down too far because I just want it to look like light and look very natural. I just want to add that little bit of brightness to create that dimension. But I don't want it too stark white, I don't want it too low, I don't have crazy under eyes concealer. Like, this still looks so pretty and I'm using such little product, you know what I mean? Like, look at the skin. So pretty, very little product. And obviously you can tell that I look brighter and more highlighted, but it's not cray. And again, I'm just taking my sponge, still damp, and just pressing underneath here very lightly. I know it looks like I'm beating my face up, but I'm pressing so light because I don't want to take away the coverage that we built up either. You know, because when you use the sponge, if you go over too many times in that area, it's going to lift up so much product. And then like we're gonna go back and have to use more product and then we'll have to blend out again. And it's just this vicious cycle where we're not getting anywhere. So that's why you want to just press so lightly or even like roll. Rolling is really good too. Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick, you know it. I'm just putting some on the back of my hand, kind of warming it up. Taking the Sigma Dual Fiber Powder Brush. I've been loving this for contour lately. And I'm just picking some up. I'm just going like this. Make sure that the brush is nice and coated and even. And then I'm going contour here. I'm going right above the contour. And this just helps create a more lifted look. And just so you know, we have not done any powder yet, so don't freak out. We are going to do powder. We just do all of our creams first here on this channel, okay? House of Margie is fab. We do all the cream first. Oh gosh, you guys, I love bronzer so much. It's one of my favorite steps because when you put the bronzer on, you're just like, okay, now I'm starting to see her come to life. Bride of Frankenstein. is coming out. She's looking good. So after kind of like my initial like sweeping back and forth, and again, I'm pressing so lightly because I don't want to disturb all of that foundation and concealer and everything, I'm just patting after that. So when I create that blend, that initial like, okay, this is where I want the product, then I can go back with the residual and lightly pat that into the forehead, the sides of the nose, over the cheeks to create a little more bronziness, and even just throw some down here. Obviously, I'm not the skinniest person in the world, so I don't really like define my chins because I really don't need to. But I do like to put a little bit of bronzer because I feel like everything's so like up here. It's nice to just have a little something down here. So I think that looks awesome. I'm gonna use that same brush we used for the bronzer, and I'm gonna pick up So Natural from MAC and just put that right over the bronzer. And I'm just tapping the blush. And I bring a little bit of that up here, down on the nose and everything, just putting the color all over. Really making sure that everything is nice and seamless and blended. I know I say this 50,000 times a video, but I'm just reiterating why I do what I do, because I just like everything to look really pretty. I don't want it to be like bronzer, brush, highlight, you know what I mean? So now if you were crying to yourself, we are gonna set, I'm gonna take my powder poof with my Marge's Mixes loose powder. I got this idea from Harouche. I mix RCMA No Color powder, so like a white powder. Then I mix Revolution Beauty banana powder, a yellow powder. And then I mix Ben Nye Pretty Pink powder, which is a bright pink powder. And I'm just picking some up and I'm tapping it off in the lid. And then I'm going to set right underneath my eyes. And I'm just setting, I don't bake. I like the powder to set the makeup, but I don't want to put so much powder that my face starts freaking out and then natural oils can't come through, and then it becomes an oily, greasy, weird mess. If I only put a tiny bit of powder, the natural oils can easily come through, and then there's not a ton of them coming through, if that makes sense. They just have to put out a little bit of oil. So I'm kind of just like setting my T-zone area, and then like whatever residual, I'm just kind of dabbing on the rest of my face because I am a oily gal. And then I am going to set the chin and mouth area because that's a place that moves and grooves around the nose. And that looks really good. Now, because my foundation is a little bit more yellowy, I'm going to take R260 from Makeup Forever, and I'm going to take that on this beautiful Royal Lane nickel brush. This is their powder brush, and I'm just going to pick up some of that and set the rest of my face. So I'm tapping first, and then I will brush and blend and buff in. Because I don't want to just start going like this because that might disturb some wet makeup, so I'm just tapping first and then blending. And like some of the residual, if you feel like you've tapped it all out, you have nothing on your brush, you can kind of just sweep underneath your eyes a little bit. Sorry if you hear noise. We have had the windows open because it's been nice weather here in Florida for once, you know, those 3 days of cold weather that we get. Then you can just kind of take that anywhere and just kind of run it over because the loose powder could have left chunkiness, and this is pressed, so there's not a lot of powder coming out on here. And I just love this powder because it's so matte, but at the same time so silky and velvety. It just looks so pretty. And foundation powders are great, you guys, because they're going to set your face and set your makeup, but also add coverage. So remember back in the day when I would use like 15 layers of foundation and 40 layers of concealer, then 10 pounds of powder. Now I can use my concealer where I really need to pinpoint, really concentrated areas of coverage. And then I can use my foundation to kind of blend it all together, do my contouring, set the places that crease really heavy, like my under eyes, my T-zone with the loose powder. And then the rest of the face, I can just set with a nice foundation powder, and it just looks so beautiful. And it gives that extra little layer of coverage, but it feels like nothing. Like my face feels like it has nothing on it. You know what I mean? It's just It's fab. It's fab. So now with this Jaclyn Cosmetics brush, I think it's the JH06. I always get them confused, 36 and 06. And I'm going to take my Hourglass palette, and I'm going to pick up the bronzer in here. I've just fallen back in love with this bronzer. I love it so much, you guys. It looks so pretty. So what I start to do is I go over right where I want it, and then I sort of push it forward almost. You know, you don't want to push it down or push it back too much. So I'll just like put it where I want it first, really lightly. And then I'll sort of just like push the rest of it in. And I just think that looks so pretty. And again, we want the bronzer and the blush and stuff high up because it's giving us this slimming, really lifted look. And I'm just using a very light amount, like I'm just tapping in one time to go over like the forehead stuff. Same with the bronzer on the nose. I'm just tapping in once and just going down the sides of the nose. And this brush is perfect for that. It gives a nice tiny little contour, but not anything crazy. It just kind of puts some color into your face. Maybe just a little bit more. Right into that hairline. And then again, just a little bit down here. I'm now going to go back into the Hourglass palette, and I'm going to take just this yellow shade on this Wayne Goss brush, and I'm just going to pop it right in here, right into the eyes. This is giving a nice finish to the skin, a nice pretty finishing powder, but also adding just a smidge of brightness. Same, just going down the center of the face now with the yellow shade. And these powders, even though they have pigment to them, they're so finely milled, and it's such a small amount of powder. You can just like go ham with your brush, and it literally never looks like too much. And it's never too shimmery, like, oh, these are so good. I could go on and on about them. Then I'm gonna go in all three of the top row. And I'm just going to do like the high points of my cheekbones and stuff. Going back into my Hourglass palette, I'm picking up Sublime Flush, my favorite blush in the whole world. And I'm just putting that right over the tops of my cheekbones. And again, just bringing it very high up, like I'm concentrating most of the blush way up here. And then I slowly bring it down. And put a little bit on the bridge of my nose, up here. You guys know I really like color on the face, so that's why this is going up here. You can even brush it up onto the temples a little bit. Yay. Now it's time for a little all-nighter. Oh, that one hit my eye. Ooh, I was in the splash zone for that one. I'm back in the Natasha Denona palette now, picking up Deep Dive again. I'm just going on my lower lash line. And I'm just sort of pressing it in. Then I'm going to go into Rhodium and just blend that out. And then if you want, just go in with a little more of Rhodium right in the center of your lid just to bring out that really beautiful color again. I'm just blending out the lower lash line with this brush that we used earlier. Just gonna tap a little bit of MAC Shell on the tops of my cheekbones. Ooh. But as you guys could see though, like just putting that Charlotte Tilbury down earlier, like made all the freaking difference. So you don't even have to do this step if you don't want to, but you know. I'm doing a full glam moment here. And come on. Oh wait, we gotta shimmy. Or else the look does not come together. I'm taking my Dior highlighter in 002 pink or something like that. 02 pink, sorry. I'm taking it with this high cheekbone highlighter from Sigma, and I'm just rolling the brush just for a very small amount of highlight. I mean, we really don't need any more highlight on this look. But I just wanted a powder to kind of set the cream down a little bit. So I'm just lightly putting a small amount of that on top of here. All right, so now I'm going to take the shade A Mauve Moment from Juvia's Place. So pretty. And I'm just going to put this on my lips. That looks good. And then I'm going to take this lip liner from NYX, the suede lip liner in the shade Vintage. And I'm just going to outline my lip a little bit. And then I'm going to take Taupe Seduction 055 from Maybelline. And this is more of like a glossier lip. And I'm just going to put that over it. And it's a little cool tone mauvier, where A Mauve Moment is a little bit more, I don't know, like a warm tone pinkier mauve. I am just going to fix this brow a little bit. Okay, yes. That needed a little help. Okay, I just need to stop because I could be here all day with my brow. All right, my friends, this is the final look. What do you guys think? I am obsessed with the eyes. I'm obsessed with the lips. I'm obsessed with the face. I'm just obsessed with myself. Anyway, I hope you guys like this eyeshadow look, this lip look, this makeup look in general. I will have all of the products listed down below, but of course, you guys, you know that you can always use your own stuff. If you have very similar lip glosses, lipsticks, blushes, eyeshadows that you want to use them. I've just been wanting to use the purples in the Natasha Denona bronze palette, and I think this look came out really nice. It's really super simple, so pretty. So yeah, I hope you guys love it. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving week, and I will see you in the next one.